Welcome to another iteration of the Insurance Tech webinar by Accelerated Automation. We have Scott here with us from Leo. Super excited to speak with you. For everyone that's joining us now live in the call, thank you for chatting in. And can you go ahead and type in where you're joining us from, like what state and city and state, I guess. And then we'll dive right in here. So Scott is with Leo. Leo is an amazing platform, especially if you're looking to connect with more business owners for commercial insurance opportunities. So we're here to talk about that. I'll let Scott kind of take it from here, and I'll be asking questions along the way, because while I've been aware of Leo for a very long time, you guys are constantly updating your platform and improving it. And so I'm even really excited to hear about some of the changes that have happened, over the last several months. And then of course, we'll definitely have time for Q&A as well. So thanks again, Scott, for your time.
Yeah, Mariah, it's always great to be with you. Thank you for hosting us. So I'm looking in the chat here. I say Carlsbad, California. So Brian, I used to live right down from the Leucadia Stairs. So he's going to know exactly where that is. So yes, as a kid, I surfed. All right. We got Eugene, Oregon. We got New Mexico. Great, great. Texas. Everybody. I start naming them. You're going to go, why didn't you say Wisconsin? All right. So we'll stop there. How's that? So
we have Colorado too. So I'm going to say a little prayer for Bill, because him and us in Idaho and Colorado, we're all freezing to death right now. It's so cold. It's a big frigid cold front that's coming through. So stay warm, Bill.
I thought you were going to get cold because it was about 20 degrees. I'm north of Seattle. I'm out in the woods, and as we know, the jet stream goes, so I know it's pushing cold air to you guys. So listen. All right. Hey, real quick intro on myself. I always think it helps knowing who you're talking to. So I've been on site to probably over 800 agencies. That's kind of light over a 10, 12-year period of time. I think we've done about 1,200 of these meetings last year. We're ramped up, even tripling that this year. About 1,000 agents signed up with Leo last year. I do want to let you know some of the additions that we are adding that Mariah talked about. We are working with folks like Aon and Hub and making some additions to the platform. But the only reason I bring that up is because you get to use a platform that some of these large top 100s are using, or even carriers are using, at a price point that we've matched it for the SMB market. So I think it's nice to know that you are using tools that some of the upmarket folks are using too. So, all right. So what I want to do here is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to bring up a PowerPoint and give you a really quick explanation of who Leo is. So let me bring this up, and if I lose power right before I got on this call, I lost power. So if I do, Mariah, I'll be back in about 5 minutes. I do have a home generator, but it takes a little bit to kick on. So
sounds good.
Okay. Can you see my screen, Mariah?
Yes, you're good.
All right, great. There's some of our partnerships there. We are mobile driven, so you do get a mobile app and no additional cost with Leo. So you can be out in the market looking up 32 million businesses while you're out in your car driving around and get some insight on those businesses. So I always like to say that we are built by you. We get input from our broker community all the time and make enhancements. One of the enhancements that you're going to see here is we brought over 990 data, which is nonprofit data, because a lot of people started going after like local churches and things like that. So I'll show you that data. But we do data mine 32 million businesses, and we bring over 3 different levels of information. We're bringing over the business data, the contact, and then we're enhancing that with insurance specific information. And right there, you can see that we have integration. It's a direct integration with AgencyZoom. For those folks that are on AgencyZoom, I don't think you'll find any better integration. And this comes from a guy that way back when had a pager company. So I've been around technology for a long time. This is without a doubt a awesome integration. On the business data, one of the things of note there is we bring over the EIN number. And then on the insurance data, everybody wants workers' comp X date, understand that. It's up to the state on what data we can data mine from the state. I'm going to talk to you, though, how to use like the benefit 5500 form. 9 out of 10 brokers I talk to aren't familiar with that document. I'll show you how you can use that to your advantage. It's whether they have a 401k, prevailing wages, or benefits. And then we do data mine the DOT, the OSHA. Where we're a little bit different than some folks out there is we're bringing you to that data of truth. Because really, Mariah, it's how good is your database? And since we're bringing you to the data of truth, you know that the data we're bringing over is correct. And there's that 990 nonprofit filing. We do bring over directors and officer information there. And lastly, we have about 300,000 businesses that we've so far built out on AI predictive X days for the GL and commercial auto, because that is not public data. Here's some of our integrations right here. You can see Mariah's on this page. as is Vertifor and AgencyZoom and HawkSoft. So we do partner with a lot of folks. We are doing a podcast with Marshberry too. So as I mentioned, you get to use some of the technology that some of these other folks are using. All right, so as we look at Leo, this is the interface. So what we'll do in a moment here is we'll do a couple searches within Leo, show you how easy it is to pinpoint that direct market, that market appetite that you're going after here with our industry and size, and bring over the data. Over here, real quickly, I want to show you some key features within Leo. As you use Leo, we have machine learning running in this area right here. So as you're searching over here, we have machine learning running, and it's going to look at your intent, at your interest, and we're going to categorize that by the location and the classification of that interest. Anytime you see this, you can download to a CSV file, or you can push up to 100 businesses at a time into AgencyZoom, or you can do it individually. The choice is yours. On the CSV file, one of the things that we've added, this was a request from a lot of our agents, is you can download up to 5,000 businesses now in a CSV file. All right. You can structure this search by the workers' comp, the GL, or commercial auto, and then structure the date of the X date here. If you are doing benefits, you can slide over to our benefit side, and you're going to see over here, you're going to structure that based on the pension or the 5,500 data right here. All right. On our pipeline, let's jump over here real quick. We're going to go over the 3 different levels of information that we talked about inside of Leo, and that being the business, the contact, and the insurance information on our page right here. And Ryan, let me know if I can get going here, right? So let me know if there's anybody who brings up any questions, and I'll answer those as we move along.
Yeah,
okay?
You guys can go ahead and do questions. We'll try to kind of do questions at the end so we can get through the information. A lot of times the questions will get answered for you. But if you guys aren't getting excited about this, I hope you are, because the ability to really hyper target your ideal prospect based on all of these different layers of data is absolutely amazing when it comes to trying to be efficient, target the right person, know what your carriers are looking for. It's going to save you so much time and not having to worry about, spending all this time to cultivate a relationship with a business that isn't a good fit for the carriers you have access to. So I just wanted to throw that in there. So, continue to watch the features and benefits here from Scott, but keep in mind that being able to really hyper target your ideal customer, it's not just reaching more people, it's reaching the right people and saving you the time and energy from talking to all the wrong people. Keep going, Scott.
No, I love it. I always say a great generalist has 3 or 4 niches, and a great niches has 3 or 4 niches. So, let's get that target list going. All right. So, okay. One of the things we note here is this green here. What we've been able to do on this Bale Brothers is, I saw something popped up there, is be able to acknowledge that data is spot on correct, because we're comparing it against legal filings here. So that's what that green check mark is. You can see the industry classification here, and then down here on the summary pages are all the X dates associated with this one prospect right here. And down here are some of the prospects in location and classification. All right, as we move to the contacts, you can see here, I love this one. This is so simple, but one of our brokers says, I hate typing this stuff in. So you can just copy the clipboard right here, just real simple things that, guys, it just saves you a lot of time. If you're using some sort of auto dialer, Ring Central or something like that, if you clicked your app right here, I've seen it happen. Let's say it was Ring Central, one of the other popular ones, it automatically started to dial. So you can do that right here. You can click here and send out an email. You can come over here, do a little bit more research on this Ivan gentleman and find out if there's any sort of relationships here, reach out, warm this up through LinkedIn, so you can do that. One of the other areas that we have, and this, I think in the next 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to see a dramatic change here. We're bringing in generative AI into this area, and we're doing a lot of things with your inbox and creating some templates for you based on pulling this data over. The one challenge that you see with a lot of chat and AI is it's very generic. The fact that you can create this automatically for you, and it's going to pull over the specific data from the legal filings, it's not going to be seen as an AI approach, because it's very specific to this individual right here. Okay.
Yeah, I completely agree with this. We have the same concept when we build automation. The more specific the client, the more specific the automation is, the better your open rates, engagement rates. You look legitimate. They know that you have a connection to them in some way, shape, or form, and it is not cold. And then you're going to have more back and forth communication, which also helps keep you out of that spam inbox or that spam box. So this is really cool. I'm excited to see the AI when you guys launch it.
Yeah, I just it's in our back end production. I saw it this morning. So again, like it's going to pull these out and be that specific that Mariah talked about. One of the things we're doing here is this is your corporate email for a couple different reasons, right? One is when you respond to Joseph, he's going to see it's from you. The other reason is it's going to store locally for any E&O exposures. They're not going to respond to Leo. They're going to respond to your inbox. Okay. All right. One thing of note. When I push right here into AgencyZoom, you're going to see I have a duplicate. So we will notify you that there's a duplicate inside of AgencyZoom. Duplicates are the bane of existence for any database. So the fact that you're told right away that there's a duplicate is great. And then when you log in, when you first push your first prospect from Leo into AgencyZoom, we're going to ask you to log in. The reason being is now we're going to pick up the pipelines that Mariah and team have built out for you there at Accelerated Automation. So this will be your pipelines, your sources, unique to you. If you change this, this becomes your default pipeline for when you push businesses over into AgencyZoom. Let me show you how that looks really quick. All right, let's log in here. I am not the expert. I'll let Mariah speak to this, but we push Bale Brothers in. So we see Bale Brothers right here. With one click, all the insurance information from Leo went into the notes section. This is an area that we're going to work on. A lot of people want us to create a workers' comp op. That's next up here. But all the information comes in the notes section. The contact comes in here and all the business information right here. And we drop it right into AgencyZoom. So you want to speak on that at all? I know this is your expertise, Mariah.
Yeah, I mean, double data entry is, definitely the time sucker of like the insurance industry because there's so many different places you're going to gather information. To get the information that you're getting through Leo, I used to have to pull so many different websites on my own, and it took hours and hours. I'd create my own Excel sheets. And then if I was going to put that information anywhere, I'd have to retype it. This is obviously like 10 years ago. But the fact that all of this pushes in and you're able to see it, it's documented in the lead. So if you sell them as a lead, great, you have all this information documented. But if you don't sell them as a lead, all you guys know is if you use AgencyZoom, a big powerful piece of it is the ability to recycle these leads and try again on the next X date. And that's really, really important with commercial. People X date personal lines, which is great, and you should. But commercial, I mean, those businesses, every single year, they're looking at those expenses, and you have a much better chance of staying on top of that and capturing that business. So the fact that you have these renewal dates, and then even if you didn't close the business this first time, you can easily smart cycle it and you don't lose this. So you don't have to go recapture the information. Think if we call this customer and let's pretend, the business owner's name is Jim, and we say, hey, Jim, last time we spoke, you had your insurance with Liberty Mutual. We weren't a good fit. You didn't have any, dot violations. And, you can just basically kind of regurgitate that information that you had last time. Again, making you look really, really professional. They don't have to repeat themselves. You've got everything documented. It's a very easy and it's a very warm phone call, right? They're going to remember like, oh, this person has all this information about me. Like talked to him last year. There's no, who are you? Oh, I talked to you last year. I don't remember that. You're going to stand out. You're going to look more professional than the other agents who are not documenting this well. And they are trying to recapture all of it again. So this is huge. I love that it pops over to the contact page as well, especially for commercial. Very, very important to have that primary contact. So we know who is getting, oh, it was Joseph. So I should have seen the name the first time, but that way, who's receiving those automations. So this integration is beautiful.
Yeah. What's nice about this too, we'll get back into here. Again, if you vetted these out and you want to push them in this case, we're going to push all 19 directly into AgencyZoom, and all that contact, business, and insurance information comes over. So, okay, so we went over the contact information. I'm going to talk about this for a moment. Let's park here. Again, 9 out of 10 brokers I talk to are not familiar with this form.
And I had never heard of this when you first brought it up. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, and it's a wealth of information. So I'll tell you what we do here. Is we pull the EIN, so the EIN is correct, right? Because we're pulling off a legal filing. Just to give you an idea, there we go, a little bit better. All 50 states since 1974, you have to file this if you're doing a 401k benefit prevailing wages. So we're pulling off the historical trend of employees. We're also pulling off here this key contact right here. If by chance you go after a prospect that has one of these filings and they're over 100 employees, you typically will see an audited financial statement. So you're doing payroll for work comp, things like that. You're going to get a lot of information on this company, especially if you're doing benefits. You're going to get assets and contributions and things like that. A wealth of information. Let's pull back to just the P&C side. When I look at this here, I can see, do they shop their carriers? Do they shop their brokers? Who's my key contact? Who's been signing off on this? So we can see Megan, Mark, and Andrea. So we come over to the benefit side. We can see Andrea's here. We have some key contacts before we ever reach out to this business. The other thing is we can see the historical trend of the employees. Is this business trending up? Are they trending down? Right? We can see all that information here. Not that you care about the 401k or that filing, but this information right here, especially if you're out building your book of business, saves you so much time to figure out who to call. So in this case, it's Megan Bale. We can come over here. We say Megan right here. We can give her a call. Before we call her, let's use data as a story. And this is what I coach on. I was in Florida for a few months ago doing some coaching. I did about 50 farmers agents in Chicago here a while ago. And this is one of the key aspects I talk about is this here, but then coming over here and using this data as a story. Here's what I mean by that. Whether I'm doing commercial auto or not, I would still run this report before I reach out to Megan. And here's why. Because we want to do a risk assessment evaluation, small as it might be, before we call her up to show her that, I'm the advisor. I know what I'm doing. I looked at your business. This is the Safer DOT site right here. It's a very, very complicated site. For example, all these forms right here, you've got to go in each one, figure out where the forms are, and then you've got to come over to the licensing and insurance over here. You've got to come over here, and then you've got to start navigating this site to find their in-force information. What we've done right here, here's the in-force. What's nice is if you want to search on the primary, the vehicle, you can search on the X date there. You can search by a carrier. If I wasn't writing this business, but I wanted to do a risk kind of assessment before I reached out to them, I would pull down these forms. Here's why. Here's their violation summaries. So you can scan their violation summaries. On their inspections, here's their inspections. You'll note that I'm pulling from the DOT site when we click. That's a 1/15 date, so you know we're up to date. If by chance you do write this business, you are getting some underwriting information here. It's going to save you a lot of time. You come over here. Do they have any crashes? Will my carrier accept something like that, right? So we have a lot of information here, and we can do that on unsafe driving, all these 8 different ones right here, okay? On the OSHA, we're doing the same thing here. The latest OSHA visits right here. You can click in here. We're going to dive into that OSHA site. You can read the summary here. You can go into the citations, getting some more information, and then come over to the popular workers' comp, right? So I see the renewal, see their carrier, the broker. Are they shopping? I see the different policies over here, the policy number. So now when I reach out to Megan, our key contact, I say, Megan, I looked at your 5,500 filing. Maybe you want to mention I looked at the bond compared to the participants. I looked at this information. I ran 8 key reports on your DOT. I looked at your OSHA, not just this year, but you can go back. You can go back 10 years and look at that OSHA violations. And I took a look at your workers' comp. I have a really good assessment on your business. I just need a couple key points, and I think we can go out to pricing, whatever your motion is after that. But the point being, guys, is there's a lot of noise out there. How do you differentiate yourself between yourself, the incumbent, and another broker? And I think you do that through preparation. I think that's the separation, is that preparation before I even reach out to this account and that type of data there. Lastly, this is really popular. So when I click here, everything on this page is about the entity that I clicked on. So here's their LinkedIn profile.
I love this. So you can really do some digging into their social presence, their website, reputation.
Yep. Here's their Better Business Bureau. All this information right here. So very quickly, getting a snapshot of this client right here, okay? My network, this is another area that we're building out in conjunction with generative AI. This will be an opt-in. You can opt in your mailbox. Let's say you worked on something a year ago, you completely forgot about it. We'll bring that in here. We'll identify what company they're with, and we'll show the data that I just showed you in that company that maybe you had worked on a while ago and forgot about. It's going to show up here for you. Okay.
Really quick, you guys, on that research piece, I want to take a moment to add on to that. So I've recently been interviewing for more employees here at Accelerated Automation, and I have had several interviews where they have already researched my company. They've looked all over social, they went through our website, they already understood the product that we sell. And I just asked them a simple question, like, how familiar are you with Accelerated Automation? And then they are telling me all the stuff that they've done already. And I can tell you just from that perspective, because I didn't have the ability to data mine like this when I was an agent. I wish I did. It would have been amazing. But just even from an interview perspective, that puts those individuals so much higher up on my priority list. I am so much more impressed with them because they're prepared, they're ready with questions, they are familiar with my company. That's no different than this approach, right? That you're going to save these individuals so much time in trying to explain all this or provide it to you. And you're already going to come across so much more professional and prepared versus fumbling around and asking, 50 billion questions that Leo can get you this information. So at least in my opinion, like if you're really serious about really focusing on commercial and you want to be that trusted advisor where you don't have, that churn with your clients because they're not getting that great service or you're not proactive, this is going to set you up to be able to do that from the very beginning, that very first conversation, if you take the time to really do your research. And then think of it from a producer perspective. If you're a producer and you gave them a list of businesses, or you said, go Google all of the electrical contractors in our town and then start reaching out to them, they're going to waste so much time on businesses that aren't eligible for your carriers. And so from a producer perspective, they can hyper focus. They're going to hear yes a lot more. As we all know, in insurance, sales is such an emotional roller coaster up and down. This is going to help add a lot of stability because they know what they're going into. So tools like this, they don't just help prospecting. They don't just help you sell more insurance or reach more people. It helps with morale of your producers. It allows you to have a more professional approach. You're just better informed in general. So keep going, but I just had to kind of add that little piece because if you get a call from an agent without this information versus a call from an agent with this information, you're going to have a totally different experience.
I'm glad you brought that up because my heart goes out to the scratch producer. That's what I've done with my life. I've started companies over and over and over. It's just a lane that I like. A lot of people don't realize, you're gonna take a year. I would call it digging a ditch for a year. Nobody likes to dig a ditch. You're gonna do it for a year. But there is methodology, there is process that will ensure your success. And I think, much to Mariah's point, I think the morale and the ability to see that light at the end of the tunnel using our tool is huge. And it helps. I think the validation with the producers in the insurance industry is, it's we need to work on it. All right. And so I like working with scratch producers, and a light goes off and they're like, man, now I know where to go. I know what to do. And because I think a lot of them are wanting and willing, they're struggling with where do I go? Where do I start? Right.
Yeah, so definitely.
Well, let's get coast to coast here. So let's go California to Florida. What I'm going to do here, I'll hit apply. You're going to see with just those two states right there, I got about 10 million businesses. Let's come down to an industry though. One that's real popular, people like, especially down in those states, is they like plumbing and HVAC contractors. What I like about what we're doing here is, let's say I want to go after property management. We can see here, you get to, I don't have class codes in here, but you can start to really dive in to what industry does your carrier really want, right? Residential, non-residential, you can do that with construction. So I come in here, I can add multiple. So I can come in here and really start to dive into what industry do I want to go after, okay? So let's do plumbing and HVAC, and let's go under 50 employees. Let's do that right here. So we're going to do something like that. Let me make these smaller so you can see where I'm at. So we have 43,000. That's just a huge number. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. I'll show you why here. We're going to do California, Florida. Let's do plumbing, HVAC under 50 employees. I'm going to save this and I'm going to call it my master. This is where the fun starts to happen. You guys having fun? All right, this is where the fun starts to happen. This is a huge number. I'm going to come down here right away. Remember we talked about that 5,500? I'm going to put this 5,500 on it because I'm a scratch producer. I'm trying to find business. Once I find out the business I want to go after, the next comment is who? Who do I go after? So let's click on this Horn Construction. Let's come down here. We're going to go on this 5,500. We're going to see that Denise Horn, she's probably one of the owners, has been signing off on that form since 2017. Here's their business right here. We can see their participants. And now I go through here and I start to do my homework, right? So I just start to go do my homework. So when I reach out to Denise by calling her or an email, I've got a good story to tell. I can come out here, do my Google search. So I come in here and get a great idea on this company right here. Maybe reach out on LinkedIn. Here's their DNB profile right here. Let's see. There we go. There we go. So we can come down here. We can get some key principles. We can get some other information right from here. Okay. So real quickly, I mean, think of yourself, whether you're a new producer or a new niche. We just found out a tremendous amount of information on this company right here. Okay. We can see that they're not shopping a lot, but in a hard market, you know, we're still kind of a hard market. We know that everybody's shopping, right? So, all right. So we did that there. So now I'm going to save this. And you know what? You could care less about this. I'm going to go key contact. Oops. That. So I'm going to save this one as my key contact. So now we've got our key contact. We're at our master here. Let's come back and let's create a workers' comp X date. So I'm going to come down here. Month 1 is this month. Month 2 is next month. Maybe I want to, you know, skinny it down a little bit. So now I've got my workers' comp approach on my X dates, right? So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to see my X dates right here. Again, I get that information. If they have that 5,500 with the X dates, I also get to see my key contact and then come over here and reach out to my key contact. So now I've got my X date approach. You can name it whatever. I'm going to save it like that. Now let's go one more here. A lot of people like writing commercial auto. I really like what we've done here. So if you do DOT, you can look at specific ones here. Maybe you want to say, I want to go max 10 units. So now we've got our HVAC plumbing. These people have DOT filings with a maximum of 10 power units. And then we go through, we do our research here, but now I've got my DOT. So if I'm building out a prospect list in AgencyZoom and I want to be very targeted in my approach, here's my DOT approach, here's my workers' comp approach, here's my key contact approach, okay? Now let's go after one last one here, okay? So I've got my has 5,500. Let's do everything here. It has DOT, has work comp. I don't mind this getting small.
91, yeah.
And this list to a new producer, and you've got all these data points. I think we've just made his or her life extremely easy, right?
Well, even for like a local visit type of approach, right? I mean, what's better than walking into the business and then even if you don't talk to the owner, being able to say, hey, I was recently in your location and I talked to so-and-so. Like the fact that you can get this list tiny from 10 million down to exactly the people you want to speak with is amazing.
100%. And look here's the EIN number. If we have any support people on here, they love that one, right? So
yeah.
Yeah, try and hunt that one down.
Plus, like being able to see the sales volume, you guys, I don't know about for you, but when I was a producer, like, especially when I was new into sales, you know, one of the pieces of advice I always got from my mentors was don't sell to your pocketbook. And when you're dealing with a business that has $10 million in revenue and you don't know that, you might kind of have those own hesitations as a producer to treat them the same as, you know, a business that's making less than $1 million in revenue. But when you have this number in front of you and you have to go out and present a really high premium policy, you're going to have that confidence that that revenue is there. And that's the size of the business that makes sense for them. So I love that piece because as a salesperson, that was always a struggle for me. Like I had no idea, you know, the revenue a lot of time until I really got it from them. We were really far into the quoting process. So even if you're like, hey, you know, these carriers or this particular type of premium for these policies in this industry, it's a really high premium. That's great. Those are the type of clients you want to target, but you can know that it's going to fit the businesses that you're actually after.
Yep. One of the things along that also, let's see here, these participant assets. Remember on this 5,500 form, we can also look at their assets over time.
Oh,
So you
this is
can
cool.
see
I've
whether
never seen this.
yeah, it's brand new. So like I said, we make changes. Come back next week. It'll be different. All right. So, and I kid you not, we know the industry we're in has always been a little bit slow on change. Guys, we make changes weekly. We really do. We're listening to everybody and making these changes. So this, we're going after a little bit more of a wealth management approach, but we're showing that asset over time. Okay, one last one here. Let's look at this here and let's go. I want to target, maybe there's a broker that lost an appointment, something like that, right? And so I want to look at workers' comp, and let's go, these guys are in California. So I can come in here, I mean, Uber, who wouldn't like to have that one, but I can come in here and I can see Woodruff is the broker now on that policy, and I can also do a carrier search too, okay?
Yeah, that's awesome. Actually, that's crazy. Think about like mergers, people going out of business, retirement. I mean, being able to target that individual agency. Wow, that's crazy.
Well, and you can do the carrier. I have a lot of people in California doing this. And oops, carrier. Oh, I put it together. Yeah, 2 words. So they're doing this, and they're coming in here now, and they're looking for State Farm, where it might be on a policy. Okay.
Yep. There's any carriers that are non-renewing. I mean, that stuff's in the news like crazy. You can check with the insurance commissioner. We talk about that a lot with AgencyZoom, where you document the opportunity inside of that, because then as there's carrier disruption, you can search all your past people that you've quoted, all your leads that didn't close out, and target them based on the carrier. It's no different here. It's a great approach.
Yep. We'll only spend under a minute here. If you're doing benefits, you can reach out to me. I have a benefit background, but you can come in here. You can search on benefit. You can search on the amount of lives, right? So if you're staying under 50, you can do something like that. If you want to do an asset range, just the kind of goes along with your revenue, but you can look at an asset range here also. And I showed you where the assets come from, but you can do an asset range search. So when we come in here, we can come into that benefit side and we can see that they're under 50 lives. And again, you can search on this asset range too, and go from there. If you're up market a little bit on this here, I want to show you one last thing, and that is, if you're doing any sort of wealth management, we're doing professional services companies. So you can see, you can search on the company services, whether it's record keeping, trusts, legal. You can search on the word legal, or you can search on 29. That's pulling off that form. So if you're doing any wealth management, professional services, you can search on those companies. And again, that asset with pension and benefits together now. So a number of different things based on your book, based on your size. We have a lot of new features in Leo. When this My Network comes out, we'll announce this really big, and I think you guys really enjoy that too. So, right, I'm done. I'm done.
So much that you can cover. So what about some unique ways you could do this? For example, we used to use Leo. We've pulled lists of like networking partners that we were after: realtors, lenders, brokerages, other insurance agents. Maybe I don't do benefits in my agency and I want to partner with an insurance agency that does, because I have the licenses. What does that look like?
Yeah, so we want to pull up here different ones: finance and insurance carriers, a number of different ways we can do the insurance, right? Reinsurance, agencies and brokerage, come in something like that, and then click in here. We didn't put it a size range, but you get what I'm saying right here, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you can target a business to write insurance for them, you can target a business to partner with them as well. And reach out for that networking approach. If you have a lot of the same types of clients, if you don't do financial services, pull a list of financial service representatives, reach out, start taking them to lunch, network, share clients. Like the fact that you can access businesses, it doesn't have to just be for the purpose of writing business. It can be for connecting to the people you are really trying to build relationships with as well.
Yep, 100%. So.
All right, guys, let's jump into questions.
Let's do
anything else that you want Scott to go back and review or have any specifics? Ashley said that she had just signed up and is absolutely loving it. Her question is, she's getting some invalid email addresses. In my mind, I'm thinking that's that Google piece. Go to the website, double check that email. But what do you recommend, Scott?
Yeah, I do too. And with that new piece that we're launching, the Gen AI, that's going to increase the odds on the email campaigns too. But you're 100% right. If there is an invalid, we can do that Google search, reach out and find the correct one, whether it's Better Business Bureau, LinkedIn, those type of things. But that is an area that we're spending a lot of time on right now, Ashley. So yeah, I appreciate that input. Linking up to that mailbox is huge, and it will help assist that area. Okay.
So I'm going to wait for questions, guys. Again, please open the chat, type in any questions that you have, anything that you want to know about Leo. And then what does support from Leo look like? And, or if they do have an idea or feedback, how would they send that to you?
Yeah. So a couple things you can do. We have live chat right here. If you want to come up over here, come up over here and contact support. If you have some ideas, you can do that right here. Or in that case, Ashley, if there was one that was you want us to really investigate, we can come in here and do that for you. And then if you go out to our website, you'll see we have an 800 number here. You can email sales, you can email support. I get a lot of emails. You can email Scott. You can do all sorts of things. I will let you know when you come on board, and for those of you who might have signed up with Leo, when you come on board, you can come over to our pricing page over here, and we do offer a 20% discount. And I'll get that code over to Mariah for those people that attended this meeting. When you sign up with Leo, you can do a 14-day trial. Sign up now. When that gets processed, you'll get an email that says sign up with one of our advisors for onboarding. Most of them are licensed agents, and they'll help you develop those lists that I just showed you.
That's awesome. That's great. I love that they get live support. Implementing technology and new systems, always having that live support is huge.
Yeah.
Ashley was asking about the app.
Oh, the mobile app?
Yep.
All right. FAQs come down here. Is there a mobile app available right here? And then you can link right there. Okay.
Download that on here. So this is how I first saw Leo when I met Scott. We were actually just walking back like from a dinner at the Vertipore conference, and he pulled out his phone and he's like, let's see what kind of businesses are in our area as we were leaving for dinner, and started showing it to me. And I'm like, holy cow, this is so cool. And that was my first experience like with Leo as a service. But you guys, if you've used AgencyZoom, there's an app there so you can kind of keep track of what's going on in your sales. But then the ability to be out and about, put that app on your producers' phones. And when they're out and about, especially if they're commercial focused, they should be looking that up. Or if they walk into a business, think about, I'm going to go in here and pick up my dry cleaning, do a quick little research about the business, go in, ask some, targeted questions that you're going to, again, be able to impress that business owner or the office manager, because you're already going to know so much about their business. So Ken has a question. Will current templates and the automation work for this, or do we need to customize them for Leo? So Ken's talking about the automations that we have built. So Ken, the ones that we've built that would work really great for Leo actually take the approach of kind of that cold, you'll see them in the workflows that we've provided, but more of the business to business approach. I'm a business owner, you're a business owner. This is what we know about your organization. Now, Scott's pulling a ton of additional information that's available. So you would be able to customize as well a lot of the information in those templates. Some of the stuff we're working on for some of our custom clients right now is workflows specific to industry. So we're actually using tags to differentiate the different type of business that we're after, and then putting in key information that's really important to their industry. So you have workflows there. Yes, if you have our done for you services, then as you know, you can customize anything in AgencyZoom. So you really can hyper target. All right, 20% discount. So if you are on this webinar, 20% discount is till the end of the month is LEOAA20, LEOAA20, 20. Thank you, Scott, so much. We don't have any other questions in the chat right now, so I appreciate you guys being here. Be sure to follow our YouTube page. That's where this recording is going to be posted, so you can go back on it, Accelerated Automation on YouTube. And Scott, again, just one last time, how can they reach you? What's the best way?
Yeah, best way is you can go to wsmeetleo.com, or you can do Scott, SCOTT, at meetleo, MEETLEO.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We appreciate having you.
All right. Good seeing you again, Mariah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.